we meet Master Jim Carroll waking up because a woman in the adjacent apartment is having some sort of mental illness episode.
It strikes me as though she probably has one every day. This seems like a thing she does.
And Jim is like, Jim Carroll, he's like, shut up!
Get a grip, lady!
And then his mom comes in, Lorraine Bracco, and as Ma, she's like, Jim, you're not gonna waste the whole day, are you? We were trying to figure out if we can do Lorraine Bracco.
I'm sure that I can. No, I
you
can.
I just okay.
I need that. The whole key with impressions is you need that phrase or that word that can get your brain set to the right frequency, and I haven't struck it yet.
Well,
I can just do a knockoff fucking Bronx accent, but Jim, but she's like kind of scruffy too.
Yeah, no, the
I'm
husky
not gonna help you kill yourself.
cigarette voice. I mean, what does she say in Goodfellas? She's like, what can I say? I was turned on.
No. What can I say? It turned me on. Yeah, something like that. I think I'm too.
You know a whore lives in this building. Wish we were watching Goodfellas.
I know.
I wrote in my notes at this point, I'm already annoyed with him reading these poems. Like, daylight.
What yonder did break, oh Juliet in the Bronx?
So this very 90s music video handheld cam starts moving through Jim's school, and he starts, the narration. When I was 8 years old, I tried to become friends with God by inviting him to my house to watch the World Series. He never showed.
That's a poem.
They're like Stephen Wright jokes.
Right.
Like, when I die, I'm going to devote my body to science fiction. Or leave my body to science fiction. In class, the Irish father teacher is paddling the shit out of Jim's ass, and he's being a smug son of a bitch about it.
I would say an excessive amount. That I counted like 14.
Because he keeps smiling. He's like, thanks, father. I totally don't want you to keep doing this.
Okay.
Look at it. We're looking at his little grin right now. It's just making the father angrier.
He can't see his little face.
He knows.
He's at the paddling end.
So we meet our gang. The gang will be following throughout the movie. Mickey, Mark Wahlberg.
These movies where street toughs walk in the street in a row of 4 like this, they all start to mush together to me. It's like, is this Star of Echoes? Is this Mystic River?
Is this Reservoir Dogs?
It's just guys being guys trying to work out their sexual abuse issues. Say, don't touch me, I'm not getting.
Care to expand on that?
I feel like that's what Mystic River is. Just a bunch of guys walking in the streets, dealing with their child sexual abuse trauma.
All right.
Am I wrong?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
We got Mickey, who's played by Mark Wahlberg. We've got Pedro, and of course, Neutron. Neutron's the good one.
I feel like they don't say his name until they say it all the time.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry, what?
His name the whole time was fucking Neutron?
Also, there's a Jim and a Neutron. Is this where Jim and Neutron came from? It's a question to ask, and I just did. Well, they get into all kinds of mischief. They're little scamps. They're knocking people's food out of their hands.
And I'm sure I felt this way at the time when I first saw it, but no, they're not scamps. They're fucking delinquent assholes. They're terrorizing people. There's a way to be a scamp. Someone waits in line and buys food for lunch and they just fucking flip it out of their goddamn hands. The one that really pisses me off, besides whenever they're already like junkies and then they're beat up an old lady and punch her in the face, besides that one, is when they just walk up to someone, this lady just trying to get in her car and go, ha!
Yeah.
It's like, don't do that to a woman.
It's not a nice thing to do.
It's beyond not nice. It's I don't believe in evil. I believe in
except for
douche.
These guys.
Okay.
They go on the Staten Island ferry and they're sniffing spray of an aerosol spray of some sort.
Sniffing a good spray. They're just huffing paint, love.
Okay. And fuck you.
They're sniffing a spray.
Well, it didn't look like it was paint. It looked like glue or something. But I just watched Alexander Payne's Citizen Ruth, where she is addicted to sniffing paint, and I've never seen it.
It's still called huffing paint.
Huffing paint, sorry. No, you're right. Thank you. But she, sprays it into a paper bag and then, yeah. And I was like, oh, that's how it's done. And I wrote that down in my notebook, like Jim Carroll.
With a tiny pencil this big, no eraser. Yeah.
But this causes one of them to barf, and he barfs on Vincent Pastore, big pussy from The Sopranos.
There's only 7 Italians allowed to act at any one time.
He's like, hey, what are you kids doing buffing on my head? Hey! And he starts chasing them.
I'm boating here.
And I mean, these guys, they're just real pieces of work. What can I tell you?
They are disingenuous. Do you get the sense that they're all on scholarship except for the short one? I mean, are any of them well-to-do?
No, I don't think so. I mean, yeah, probably
Nice.
just Neutron probably seems like he's the well-to-do one.
Right. But that just, it is confusing why the short one, who is just the manager who steals things, is there at all. He doesn't seem on scholarship or wealthy.
He's their friend. He's their hanger-on and the coach because he wants to fuck little boys.
Thank you. I got that. He's at an expensive prep school. How is he there? He doesn't seem like he has the money
at
for
the
it.
school.
Yes.
Good question. Is he at the school? Have we seen that? Yes, we
Yes.
have. Okay. But this, like, they're going to Staten. They live in Manhattan. I don't remember which neighborhood, but they're going to Staten Island. They have to transport themselves to Staten Island to play their school basketball game against this rich school in Staten Island.
Are they going to the school? That's not their school. That's the other school.
No, because they're walking in like, if we went to a school this nice, we'd not skip it so much.
Right. Yeah. Why isn't there a bus?
Maybe there would be a bus, but they skipped so they could do mischief and go on the ferry.
Why like huff a nice amount of paint and then go do basketball?
That makes the basketball better. They're playing,
The blue and yellow team.
We meet their coach, Bruno Kirby, as Coach Swifty. And he's a real pervert. We can tell that right away because he just like opens every bathroom stall. He's like, hey, what you doing?
You pulling your pecker? Huh?
No
Huh?
pulling your pecker before the game.
You tugging your tank? Huh? You tooting your motorboat? Huh?
All of those things are for after the game, fellas.
Right. And I'll help you out because you guys are going to be tired.
He opens up Mark Wahlberg's stall and he's like, hey, Swifty, what's the deal? I'm taking a dump over here.
And I feel it. I feel the dump coming out of Mark Wahlberg's ass.
And do you remember what Swifty says to this?
Don't tug your...
He says, my ex-man brought his new girlfriend. Because he's Swifty.
Oh, okay.
The gang is all signing a basketball for Bobby. And Coach Swifty wants to say, hey, I want to sign.
It's so strange. Hey, fellas, you think me, coach, could He's acts like a child. He's always asking permission for things, and he just wants to hang out and fuck the cool kids.
Yeah, because he's signing the ball, and he's like, dear Bobby.
My ex-boy. He took up half the ball. He wrote a lot of stuff.
He really did. Yeah, and I can't tell what the team thinks of him because
I cannot either. I think they know they can push him around a little bit. I think they know they can get their way with their looks with him a little bit. And I think they take what he can offer, but they don't want to be alone with him. And they know they can kind of dick with him if they need to. It is a strange... I don't know.
But I think you're right. It's like we know he might try to like touch our dicks, but like you can handle him. You can just tell him no or push him away
And if you need $20, touch my dick. But the part where where I think we're going to like learn a little bit more about what Swifty really like is when Jim presents the basketball to Bobby in the hospital. And like, look, even Swifty signed it. And I'm waiting for I'll bet he did, but he doesn't say it.
No.
It's all just kind of
that's
mild.
so nice that Swifty also signed.
But it's also not that.
No, I know.
This is confusing.
They are the hottest Catholic high school basketball team in New York City on their way to the championship.
And to that I say, are there more than one?
It's a big city. There's 10 million people in it.
But why specify Catholic? Like, because they're only going between Catholic schools for this? They're not like...
No, I think they're also playing other schools, but they're just the best of all the Catholic. It means, we're at a certain level of funding. This is supposed to be the 60s. The president just became a Catholic. That's weird and foreign. You got the mark of the... We're from New Orleans where Catholic is the most widespread religion.
Yeah.
It's like, of course, Catholic.
Okay.
Let me tell you about the rest of America. They think you're a devil.
When he says Catholic here, we're supposed to take that as meaning they're somewhat disadvantaged?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it's coded as either Irish or Italian.
Okay. So like of the rich, not deserving class, we're the richest and the most talented.
Or we're at least doing the best at sports.
Oh, okay. Because I just wondered if that has something to do with the team they're playing as well, who presents as like very straight-laced All-American. Mm-hmm. Are we to know whether they're Catholic or not, or maybe that doesn't matter?
Don't think that matters.
Okay.
Now I've seen 60s basketball players. They don't dress like this.
Oh, you're right.
They also
Their
don't
shorts
play
are
like
too
this.
Long.
If you watch a basketball game from the 60s, it's just
it's just the Harlem Globetrotters.
You're not allowed to use a ladder.
Did you want to go by me? All right, I'll get the ball when it comes back this way.
So you've seen it. Yes. Okay. As the game is going on, Pedro goes into the locker room. He has this grift where he can just get into opposing lockers and steal their stuff. Yes.
Did you know that the Harlem Globetrotters just play basketball? That you can buy a ticket to go see the Harlem Globetrotters, and then they can just play basketball, and they do zero tricks. Did you know that?
What's the point of that?
I just know somebody that went to one and was like, when are they going to, is it at halftime? It's like, no, you got to read ticket, buddy. Sometimes they just play basketball.
Oh, really?
Isn't that crazy?
So it's a tiered thing if you want the actual show.
Well, I guess it's just like, they just also do this other thing. And because that's what you associate with them. It's like, yeah, well, I went to see the American Gladiators and they just played chess. I did not expect that. It's like, no, you're a thing. You're associated with a song. So maybe it's like when they tour, they're doing their tricks. But if you go to them in Harlem and they're not globe trotting, they're just playing b-ball, playing some round.
I mean, I've always known like they're playing an actual game. They're just allowed to do fun tricks and stuff. But
Who are they playing against?
The Washington Generals, of course, who are trying their best to win.
Oh,
they just suck.
You know much more about this. I just knew this one thing.
I've done plenty of reading about the Globetrotters on Wikipedia.
Yeah,
I forget it all, but it's like the company that owns like Barnum and Bailey also owns the Globetrotters, also owns Disney on Ice. It's just like touring live entertainment.
I guess I just wonder what type of level of basketball player ends up there. Is it after a career? Is it before?
It's people. Sometimes it's college basketball players who can't go to the NBA or can't even go overseas. I don't know.
They can't go to the NBA, but they can do flips off a trampoline and then get into the thing. Okay,
that's a different skill set.
They can't go overseas, but they can globetrot.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to look into this. No, I'm not.
So, yeah, they have the grift. They go in and steal the opposing team's shit. Hang on to that detail. It's going to come back in about 2 minutes. And they go, Swifty takes them out for burgers at this Staten Island
tacos place.
Taco Hut. and Leo's like, there's only two things Swifty forbids: using the word motherfucker and stealing from the other team, if they're white.
What a nice guy.
So, yeah, they're at this place, and what happens?
Well, Swifty has gone somewhere, and he comes back, and he says, like, he's not eating with them, which I don't know where he's been. And he's just at the register, and he's like, hey, how much for my winners over there? And the guy gives him, like, a total that's, like, 3 times what he thought it'd be. And he's like, what the hell? You changed prices or something? Huh? Oh, here, what if I give you this watch? And the guy's like, no dice. I want my money. What the hell? So he's aggravated. He goes over to the table with those winners, and he's like, what? They all ordered 8 burgers each or something so stupid. And of course, Marky Mark says, that motherfucker. I mean, so they're breaking all the rules, because then what do you know is you see that team conveniently still wearing blue and yellow. And they're like, hey, get out of here. You took my grandfather's watch. You had it up his asshole in Vietnam. No, it's just something.
5 years.
5 years. And so what do you know? Those paint sniffing boys, they stole from another team who were not white. But isn't it odd? Swifty takes them all out to eat, but why them? Where's the rest of the team?
They're his boys. There's this thing we described, this weird parasocial.
So it's not everybody. It's just.
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe it's the scholarship kids.
These kids are poor. Oh, there you go. Yes, they're on scholarship
be,
here.
Right. Exactly.
They don't have parents who can come and cause a fuss.
Oh, you're so fucking right. Then they're all the way over on a boat ride. This is the perfect place to fucking
make your move.
They really met. And Swifty's like, I'm not taking you home, asshole. What if they don't have ferry money?
The ferry is free, but it's still really long. A really long ride.
It's cold.
And so our heroes beat the shit out of these Staten Island kids, and Mark Wahlberg is just going nuts, kicking the guy on the ground. And I was wondering, how did they get him to get into character for this? And then I read they told him that guy's Vietnamese.
What?
Oh, Mark Wahlberg beat the shit out of 2 Vietnamese people in the 80s.
Why?
Because he hated the Vietnamese.
What?
You just go look up this on your own time. It's like this big scandal that's followed him his whole life.
He's like Richard Gere in the gerbil.
No, but this is the thing that actually happened. He got prosecuted for it. And then I read a quote from him like 10 years ago. He's like, I should probably go find those people and say I'm sorry.
now I'm looking at a picture of Bobby, who is
Michael Imperioli.
oh god, such a fucking
Christopher
good name.
Moltisanti from The Sopranos.
That name is just perfect. It's a perfectly well-rounded name. I always found him handsome on The Sopranos. Here, all you need to do is take the man's. This is a combination of both taking the eyebrows away and because you don't really do that. You have to build makeup on top. So then they have this weird bulbous ridge of makeup. It makes him look alien. It's not his fault. It's makeup. All right. So he's in the hospital. I don't know if it's hospice, but he seems. I don't know if it's around a chemo. I don't know under what circumstances a person with cancer in the 70s is just in the hospital. It's like, that's not what they do. So I assume it's end of life situation. And Leonardo DiCaprio comes in there to visit him. That's his best friend. And
he's like, hey, Bobby, I beat your record. Oh, yeah. How many times you choke it? God, 7 times.
7 times.
Really? My mom thinks I have a cold because of all the tissues around the house.
Let's talk real close while I'm sitting in your bed about how many times I pulled my pecker. And also, we jumped this lady, and in her purse was a stack of Polaroids of her fucking a donkey. Let's sit
what the hell?
It could have just been normal sex. It's still Polaroids. Why did it have to be that? Fuck. And so it's like, let's sit real close and look at these on the bed, and you tell me how you can't get a decent chubby anymore. And I know this to me reads like Grease, where the guys from Grease, they don't know how to intimately speak, so they speak in hitting each other and rizzing each other and get out of here. For them, they are talking about something serious. He is experiencing very horrible side effects from being at the end of his life and so young. So he speaks in sex. Mm-hmm. I'm dying. I can't get a chub.
They're pumping him so full of dope that he can't get a decent chubby. Chubby's always been my least favorite word to describe it.
I wish we'd stop saying it.
So
anyway,
Jim is like, hey, I'll get you a chubby. Takes him to a peep show.
Together. And he throws his pants at him so fast. This man is fucking fragile. It's like, Leo. And the friend's like, I don't want to do this. Truly, I'm saying, he's used to being a tough guy. Leo's making him, Jim is forcing him to be like, no, really, I can't. I don't. Okay. So then they're in the streets. They sneak out of the hospice. And he's being reckless with him again in the fucking wheelchair and popping wheelies. And I don't know. He seems to be having fun, but I don't like it. And he brings him to a peep show. And he thinks he sees the woman performing look at him and feel sorry for him. And then he gets pissed.
Well, it's an interesting mixture of expressions on Imperioli's face. He's experiencing it all at once. He finds this hot, or I know I should find this hot.
Right.
I'm embarrassed. I'm humiliated. I'm sad. I'm depressed. I'm angry, but mostly I'm just numb.
Yeah.
And and he's a great actor. You can see it all over his face. And then he's like, take me home. And I was just thinking of all the great lines on The Sopranos. Most notably, he was gay, Gary Cooper.
Yeah, he's an amazing actor. It's all... You feel every part of it. It is a little tricky to put Leonardo DiCaprio next to somebody like that who's just, hey, can we finish at least? I paid it. I looked at a Nickelodeon for a nickel. And
that's what he was talking about in Titanic when he said that.
Paid for Nickelodeon. All right. Now we find out the different kinds of... Okay. Jim Carroll loves a fucking list. All right. So now we learn the 3 different ways boys around these parts prove themselves. You see... The Brooklyn, I don't know. The New Jersey boys, they play chicky. We know what chicken is. Just say chicken. Why do you have to fucking call it chicky? And then at the end of you describing it, you then say, that person's a chicken. So it's chicken. It's not fucking chicky. Hey, I can't stop. All right. And then.
One time I was getting breakfast in Arizona.
Oh, God.
And I heard another family talking to their daughter.
No.
And asked, they were talking, do you want some sausages? But what they called them was porkies.
Oh God, I thought this was going to be okay. That's fine.
Go on.
Okay. The other thing is, if you're in this other borough, you take a cigarette and you put it in your arm and you wait for the entire thing to burn down. Okay. So one is playing chicken with fucking 1,000-pound steel boxes. The other one's burn your arm to a smithereens. But us Manhattan boys, we jump off of a adorable cliff into a slightly dirty lake.
Into the Harlem River.
I don't care. It's just like, oh, wow. I think I'd take that over the 3 Manhattan boys. Us Manhattan boys. I've just never really heard, except for in this movie, of people in Manhattan being described as like hard. It's like, you guys are the rich ones.
No. That's now, but for a long time it wasn't true. But no, I mean, I don't think, hey, I'm not a New Yorker. And neither you're not, right? I would my understanding would be you wouldn't say I'm a Manhattan guy. I'm whatever specific neighborhood I'm from,
right?
Because
Upper,
a lot of different
lower.
neighborhoods. There's the upper and the lower, the two.
Central Fifth.
Yeah, you could be from Central Fifth.
You could live near the Statue of Liberty's foot.
11Z's. Any of those things.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna call it Chickie, why don't you call yourself a Hattie or a Manny?
Would you jump into have you ever jumped off a cliff into water?
No.
Would you?
No.
Of course.
But if those are the 3 things, I'm doing that thing.
They're jumping into the Harlem River. A tour boat goes by, and they show them all their asses.
Not just their ass, but like their spread cheeked cracks. Man, these guys like being naked next to each other. It's sweet.
This is what boys do. They throw screwdrivers at each other's boners and pull down their assholes and
They pull them down
and say we're not gay. It's totally normal, totally healthy, and it is.
Yeah, it's fine. Just what a window.
Oh, but no, we forgot to mention the very crucial thing of before this little excursion to the cliff starts. Jim is playing his one-on-one basketball game with Reggie,
That
Ernie
never
Hudson.
ends, never ends. The great Ernie Hudson, and there's no way he would be keeping up with him. But in Jim Carroll's mind, he was a very good basketball player with this man who they just had like a friendly understanding and play. Anytime they saw each other in the court, they played.
So Neutron is like, he takes Jim aside and he's like, Jim, you're the normal one. Later, don't tell the others. I'm going to take you somewhere cool. And it's to the home of Winky and Blinky.
Blinky, because, teenage girls, Matt, normal teenage, well-to-do girls, when their parents are out of town, they pretend to be prostitutes named Winky and Blinky with lots of drugs and dress like they're 36. I don't believe you, Jim.
No, this is like Pulp's Common People. This is the well-to-do cosplaying. It'll be an interesting little experience. I'll pretend like I'm hip and poor.
They're bored.
Yeah.
All right.
But Winky and Blinky, one of them is like, take this cocaine. It'll make you fuck like Superman.
No, it won't.
It won't?
I don't know. I've never fucked on coke. I've only done coke on coke.
Really? What's the point?
What's the point of wasting all that coke time having sex? We gotta have sex anytime.
After he fucks like Superman, he's like now going nuts on cocaine. He's like, this is great.
This is where it gets aggravating. Like, I guess he just has a personality where just a little bit's not enough, and I guess that's the point. I don't know what they're, but like, it's over the top what he's doing with his face.
It's inspiring him to write though, and he's writing furiously. He's like Alexander Hamilton. I've been reading and writing, and he can't stop. He's like, oh, I'm on cocaine.
That's fine. I believe that. I used to like to color.
And
that's a thing.
You still do.
I mean, while on like an upper.
Okay.
I colored like fucking Superman.
So it's not enough. He runs out of coke, so he just goes and takes all the pills from her medicine cabinet and then does some dumb faces.
Yeah.
Next thing we see is Bobby has died. They go to his wake. This causes them to mourn. They go out and they shoot some basket hoops in the rain.
All right, but we learned from here that Jim was the one that was closest to Bobby. They'd known each other since they were 3. The other guys probably just don't know him that well, or for only a couple years, and they're just not as affected. 2 of them are better at being like chill about it, but fucking Marky Mark is just like, we just say love me. We just gotta live. So we only have tonight.
Hey, we gotta let that shit go.
Tonight.
You know what? He was in so much pain. It's better that he's dead.
I know, right?
Not even to say like
kid.
He's got to be. It's just to say it's better that he's dead, not he's better off or he's in a better place. It's good he's dead.
Right. And it that's already like a crass way to say it. But what really pisses off Jim here is that this character is acting like he went and visited Bobby, had any idea what it was like toward the end, which he never visited him. And so now, Jim's got all this misplaced anger of like, fuck y'all. You didn't care about him like you think you do. Don't talk about him.
Yeah, because they kind of have like, they will, even before he dies, they'll be like, you know who's great at jumping off the cliff? Bobby. And so they're talking about him like he's a legend and kind of talking about him in poetic terms. And DiCaprio, who is a poet, like resents them because like he's a real person who is still alive, and he was a real person who lived a real life, but you're talking about him like he's this fictional, idealized idea.
Right. Don't mythologize him already, and don't like you're doing lip service. Like, as long as I pay tribute to Bobby's memory by saying he's a great cliff diver, then I don't have to go see him in the hospital. I get that. It's like, no, just go visit him. Like, he's still around. These are just really complicated things to express, and your friends do drugs and so do you. And it's like, all you can do is just be mad and get into fights and take your clothes off a lot.
And then play basketball in the rain. And it's actually a pretty good sequence.
It is. I wonder when Leonardo DiCaprio, the person, actually like develops into just a regular kind of man body. He's tiny. He looks like an 8-year-old. His chest and arms just so youthful.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I want to punch him. Shut up.
I'm not saying it's good for a guy. It's not a good thing. You want to look like Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I don't like how motivated I am by these very basic like stereotypes. Like, Mark Wahlberg, there's a man.
He pumps.
No, and I've said it before. Like Timothy Chalamet, I see him on screen, and I'm just like, fucking twerp.
I love him. I guess I love twerps.
Yeah.
I like them tiny.
Twerp.
I want to snap them.
Do you like women who are twerps? Like,
what's a woman twerp?
Zendaya.
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh.
Fuck, she's not a twerp. She's
but she's a
thick.
No, she's a little baby, just like he is.
She's her size.
No.
They're thick.
All right.
She's thick where it counts.
He goes in to do confession, and he confesses all. This might be my favorite part of the movie. He goes into the confessional booth, and he's like, "Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. I do drugs all the time. I jack off constantly. I'm always fucking women and doing cocaine, and I took the Lord's name in vain once." And he's saying all this stuff, and the priest is just like, 10 Hail Marys. And he's like, "That's it. But I got to tell you something else, Father. My friend Bobby died, and I'm having a real hard." And the priest just shuts the slot. See, there's no time for them, especially for scholarship kids.
They're not supposed to know who's walking in. It should. I guess he just didn't have rich people problems. Like, nope. Give me a donation. Just puts his little hands.
Father, I'm worried they're not going to cut the capital gains margin tax. I'm really struggling here, Father.
All right. So Bobby's death seems to be the catalyst for a true spiral. When does he do heroin? I don't know if he'd done it before Bobby died or what, but now that's his main bitch, and he's doing it throughout the week at school. He's running out of money. He's not good at practice that good.
He goes into the bathroom to snort something, and then Coach Swifty comes in, and instead of being like, "Hey, you're doing drugs. This is bad," he's like, "Oh, you've been sending me signals, bud." And he's like, "Fuck you, Swifty. Leave me alone." And then that pushes him into the wall, and the coach is like, "Yeah, okay, I'll try again in the future."
No. This is where he's like, "Oh, easy, Jim," because he makes him bleed, and then he's like, "Here, you want some money? You want?" Oh, does he do it in the future?
No.
The honk honk? Grab his dick?
Huh?
When does he grab his dick?
When does he grab his dick? What do you mean?
Right here?
When does he does that here?
I'm asking, is there another scene? Because yes, he grabs his dick.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, he touches him.
You shouldn't do that to your students. He, Jim, in a drug-induced stupor/dream, envisions himself shooting his entire class while wearing a trench coat. The music video stylization actually works right here. Also, excellent squib work.
But I do like that. He's kind of part bank robber. Like, because they invented this look, they thought turtleneck, where like that's the only thing that doesn't really fit the
that's funny. What does he think he's doing?
I don't know. Like, he looks like he's going to take out his stock bonds.
Stick him up, see?
Yeah, right. He looks my Tommy gun. Yeah, he's a little too save the turtleneck for the poetry, my man.
Does he shoot any of his friends? I don't remember. He shoots the teacher. He saves all his friends.
He doesn't save anyone. He just doesn't shoot them. But they are maniacally laughing at the entire affair, which goes to show you what he thinks of his friends, which is like there's no comfort in these people. I don't even like what we do. I know that we terrorize people. I don't even like that. If I did this, you guys would just fucking applaud me, and I would just get worse, just like you are with the drugs. Like, I think the dream is also letting us know that, like, There's no one to help me here. You should not be applauding what I'm doing. You should be trying to stop me. All right. Now, this is hard to watch. And we're only seeing it from their perspective, but now there's like a locker scene where Shorty, Marky, and Jim are all have a handful of pills, and they're trying to figure out which are the uppers, which are the downers, because they've all taken heroin that day, and they're going to need something to pep them up to play for the big game. None of them know which are the uppers, which are the downers. They all just decide to take the same black pill, and it was the wrong choice. So we see from their perspective, just them fucking up on the court, and it's hard to watch because you really don't know. It probably looks even worse than that. I don't know. Drugs at school makes me so uncomfortable. So they get kicked out of the game and, confronted by the father.
Well, they're like so sluggishly playing, they can't play.
They're not even they're sloppy.
Yeah.
They're drooling.
And the father and Coach Swifty are yelling at them, and then they suspend them and kick them off the team. And they're like, forget you, man. And they leave. But Neutron, the good boy, is like, I'm not coming with you, fellas. I'm going to stay here and follow my dreams.
Right. He has not been doing drugs during the weekday like them. He's still recreational. So now that they're on the streets, now they have more time for drugs and need more money. So we just get to see what kind of things they get up to, like boosting cars. And this leads us to another one of probably my least favorite scene of the whole movie. They're stealing this particular car because Mark Wahlberg's character has a brother who can sell it. This is the car they need. They get in it and I don't know why are they letting the short one drive? I don't know, but that's the one, right? That's and he's literally falling asleep. He's ducking out. That's what you call it. He's on heroin and he's just no, I got it. It's just crazy ass driving. I'm okay with that, but they get
I love they'll wake him up with Pedro and he's like, "What? I'm good."
Right.
Like as he's asleep.
Yeah, that's the mood. Yeah. But they don't ever decide to switch drivers. But then the next thing you see is they're on the street waiting for the brother. You don't see the car. The brother gets there. He's already annoyed. And he's like, well, where's the car? And they're like, it's right here. And they point and it's getting towed away because they parked in a no parking zone. Mm-hmm. I'm annoyed as fuck with these bad at crime kids, and especially Pedro for some reason. And now Mark Wahlberg's character's brother is in real, he's got a report up and he's already promised this car, already woken somebody up. It's a whole fucking thing. So what does he do? He breaks his arm and you hear him scream like, stop, you're breaking. And then the next scene is him with a cast on, shooting up. But like, that's my least favorite scene.
Just the
screaming.
You react so viscerally to the brother stomping on the arm to break it, and then
he didn't stomp on it.
He doesn't stomp on it?
No, he pulls it behind his. You know how when someone can put you in a hold like this? Mm-hmm. Well, if you keep going, you just break it.
Oh, okay. So we see them next in a heroin den, and now they're just legit injecting heroin. Which I don't think
they had been already.
We hadn't seen it though, or we hadn't seen them inject.
Yeah, we see Mark Wahlberg. You need to watch the movie again. We see Mark Wahlberg do it in the back of that stolen car.
Oh, you're right. Well, now they relocate to a heroin den. They're shooting heroin. We see the real Jim Carroll, who plays a junkie who gives an annoying soliloquy about his weird dream, and DiCaprio's like, and then what happened? And this wasn't scripted. This was just Jim Carroll going off, and DiCaprio was just like, very interesting, sir.
Yeah, no shit. I got that vibe right away. I think if you sit next to Jim Carroll, he's going to tell you about his dream, no matter what the fuck time it is or who you are.
This would be
Don't sit next to him at a dinner party. Jesus Christ, don't.
This would be something I would struggle with as a drug addict, is having to listen to other drug addicts talk.
You think that's a thing?
Huh?
I don't feel like that's a thing.
I feel like in all the media I see about heroin people or people of all kinds of drugs just going off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to listen. In the same way that if you watch a Richard Linklater movie, if you watch Slacker, it's just him watching mentally ill people go on rants, and he's like, oh, it's so interesting what they have to say. And I'm like, no, it's annoying.
Yeah. I don't know. The good thing about drugs is you're on them. So, makes everything a little bit better.
The movie does an okay job of depicting sort of the desperate community of heroin users, where you can just go up to somebody and be like, hey, do you have heroin? Can I have some? And they will give some to you if they have it, because they know that you might do the same in return for them.
Yeah, well, and they also know how painful it is to be coming off of it. I'm so glad I don't know what that feels like, but when it's depicted in movies, it looks like the worst fucking thing ever. I will say, though, the detox scene for Leo in this movie feels excessive. I don't know. I feel like that might be the most extreme one I've ever seen, but I do not personally know, so maybe it's like this.
I only know of it from reading memoirs of people who get off drugs or people who deal with people who are on drugs. It didn't seem excessive to me, or at least that's the most effective part of the movie for me because of how it is working. Like Ernie Hudson, and like this is what it would take to actually help somebody, is you have to devote all of your time and energy
to keeping them in one spot,
and it's not going to be enough. And that's what's so sad about it.
You would literally have to watch. That's why you can't make someone do it. They have to be motivated. Here's where I already hated Pedro. He causes all the trouble. He stole from the rich kids. He's fucking throwing up on the guy. He can't drive, so the guy's arm gets broken. Now that he is the fuck up. Fucking hate him. So they're in the most awesome place ever to break into, just a fucking soda shop ice cream place. This stupid fuck makes himself a chocolate shake, does not help at all with the robbery. I love that Leonardo DiCaprio has so many candy bars and he shoves them in so many places. Good thinking, you'll be hungry later. And they spend a lot of time trying to break into the cash register. Once they do, it's just some coins. But they know the cops are coming. The cops. I don't know how they know, because what you went in through the back. They're
hear
really
sirens
far away.
And Mark Wahlberg's like, come on, Pedro, gotta get out of here. The cops are coming. And he just won't leave. He's like, I like my milkshakes. And at one point he says, they don't make them like this anymore. Oh, like, but you're in 1962. I thought they did. Nope.
You're drinking one.
Like this anymore.
You made it.
It's just something you say.
I know.
And so he just leaves him behind, and poor Pedro gets arrested.
Fuck Pedro.
And
fuck him.
Jim, a guy accosts him because Jim sold him bad drugs, and the guy beats the shit out of him and leaves him in the snow. And then Reggie, Ernie Hudson, comes and collects him. Wait,
but did Marky Mark already push someone off a roof?
Nope, not yet.
All right, well, I don't want to spoil that. It's coming later.
Rehab with Reggie. We get the stretch where Reggie is forcibly detoxing him. And I think this is some of the best DiCaprio acting, because he's just good at being like a little just feral animal, just going insane. And Ernie Hudson reveals, like, doesn't go into specifics, but somebody helped me once and I need to return the favor. So I will literally keep you here in my apartment and watch you destroy my apartment, but I'm not going to let you leave, and I'm not going to give you your drugs.
It's very sweet.
And it goes on over a period of days, and then Jim starts to feel better and Reggie has to leave. But first, Jim is like, Reggie, you really like my writing, huh, Reg? And he's like, I've already told you 5 times. I love it.
Want me to bend over and kiss your ass?
But then as soon as he's gone, he's like, okay, I'm going to be back in a little while, little partner. Be good. Okay. And if anything goes wrong, just start writing your poetry. Okay. But as soon as he's gone, Leo's just like tapping his pencil and then goes crazy. And then the handheld camera goes all swirly. It's pretty effective filmmaking of feeling the claustrophobia and the panic. And in the narration, he says, I am alone. We all are. And that, again, is the sad part, is no. Somebody's literally helping you.
Right.
They're doing what they need, the only thing they can do for you, but it doesn't feel real to him. It doesn't feel stronger than the need to do the drugs. Well,
it doesn't feel like Reggie knows that actually Jim needs the drugs. Like Reggie doesn't get that. No, I need to be on these drugs. It's fine. I had a bad day. You could help me be on them better. Like, I think that she's like, he wasn't ready. He didn't see the big problem with it, and so he felt alone. Reggie did him a favor that he didn't ask for.
Yeah, but I mean, I read it as him like, I need, you need to go through withdrawal and get to the other side of it, and then take steps toward getting clean permanently.
Well, and dealing with whatever puts you in that place to begin with, right? Like, this the therapy piece that seems to always be missing. The drugs are the symptom and not the cause of your problems.
Mm-hmm. He goes to the subway station or whatever, and he lets a man pay him $35 to suck his dick. The man pays for the privilege of sucking DiCaprio dick. While it's happening, he envisions Coach Swifty coming in with his gum. I had to look away because of the gum, a lot of the gum. And then he meets up with Mickey, and he's like, good news, I got $35. I'm like, oh boy, that's a lot of money. But the drugs they buy are What's wrong with the drugs they buy? I couldn't.
They are fake.
They are fake. Okay,
Yes.
that's no good.
No
And
good.
so they chase this guy, chase him up onto a roof, and then whoops-a-daisy, Mark Wahlberg makes him fall off to his death. And then the cops come and they arrest Mark Wahlberg, but Jim gets away.
That's why I think there's just one too many convenient things for old Jim Carroll in this fucking
Yeah,
book.
you were saying this after the movie. You're like, all
like,
right.
Come on. Like, every bad thing that happens, he's there for it, but he's not doing it. He's there for the robbery, and he wanted to go back for his friend, but he just couldn't. Okay, nice. But that friend in real life still got arrested, right? Okay, so that's still your side. And then you chase the guy up the fucking thing with your friend Marky Mark, and he falls off the roof. But you were nowhere near. Wow, that's fucking convenient, Jim Carroll. And just,
In reality, you think he literally pushed him?
Or
Jim was the one who literally pushed him?
he's the one writing it. I mean, it just
Of
seems
course.
convenient to for all of these things that are really bad for people just not be your fault. And just how many times you get people to tell you you're a good writer in your own fucking book. Shut up.
This is like Rose seeing the drawings. These are very good.
Oh, yes, they are.
And but you know who did those drawings in Titanic?
Yeah, the fucking James Cameron.
James Cameron did the drawings, and then he had Kate Winslet wrote in a screenplay. He's like,
Very
these
good
are
indeed."
these are exceptional.
Fucking, I've never seen it. This is a hard scene. The next thing is because he doesn't want to go get his dick sucked again, I guess. That didn't work out so good. He goes to his mom, which is interesting. It's hard to understand how much time has passed. I have no idea what is the span of time this whole book
It could
takes
be
place
weeks, it could be months, it could be years. Yeah, you don't.
Thank you, Matt.
What was wrong with that?
Those are the increments. Nailed it. Okay.
Oh my god.
So it's interesting. This is the first time he goes home, because that is a frequent stop for any person addicted to drugs is to steal from your, your mom's parents' schedule. They leave the house, you go and you take the TV or whatever. Just like, come on, this is the first time.
Yeah, there was earlier. They show him just looking at his mom from across the street, but he doesn't contact her.
He's thinking maybe I could sell her hair. That's a sad scene of him just wanting. He just wants the money, but he also is just crying to her like a little boy. Like I'm sure he cried when he was a little boy. And at one point he says, "Hold my hand," and she said, "Yes, I'll hold your hand." And then he immediately changes this to "Give me the money," and he just cries and cries. He's just a very convincing crier. She is too. It's so hard.
Yeah, I like. She slowly puts the chain latch on the door and then opens it with the chain on, and he's like, "Hi, ma." Hi, Ma.
You there?
Hi, Ma. Hi. And he keeps saying it. And he's like, I just need money. I just need money. I'm in pain. And she won't give him the money. He says, is determined, I'm not going to give you money.
She goes to reach for money because like he's breaking her heart. And then he's like, why you have to be such a bitch, Mom? And then she picks up the phone and she's like, police?
And the police come and they take him away. And they take him to the best place in the world for a heroin addict, prison.
Okay, but it is a little weird that she doesn't say it's my son, because what's he doing in the hall? Mom! Ma! So when they pick him up, they're going to know. Okay.
I didn't know what he meant by that.
Wait, he's doing poetry from prison?
No, Lacey,
Okay,
that's
I was
after
like,
prison.
All right, I was like, because he's got bars on his face and he's in a prison outfit. Anyway, that's the smash cut? Mm-hmm. Just like I got clean in prison. And
yeah, he's in prison. He's like, I got 6 months or whatever. And even though it's the easiest place in the world to get
primo
drugs,
junk.
I didn't do it. Why? How? Don't know.
I don't know. I guess you didn't want to
But
write good.
the system works.
Sure.
Prison, the place where you can get rehabilitated and become an upstanding member of society. But I like in the narration, he's like, I've just been thinking dumb stuff. How nice the concept of having a godmother is.
Do I have one?
And I wrote, it is nice if you think about it.
That's nice.
But after that, they cut to him and he's Tiger Beat Leo, like strutting down the street. He's off drugs. He's swooping his hair around. He runs into Pedro and Pedro's like, Jim, can you give me drugs or whatever? And he's like, no, sorry. But hey, listen, I got to go do this thing. Do you want to come along with me and help me do it?
Like, do you remember how it is to be on the street and you just want drugs? Do you want to, while you're coming down from this high that's only going to get worse and it's going to be harder for you to go get the drugs you need? I know this. But do you want to come see me do poetry? Because I don't know if you know this, but I'm a good writer.
I'm really good.
Dear Basketball, tell me again how pretty I am. You're the prettiest writer I have a did playground ball.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Basketball.
This is why I write to you, not baseball.
It is an effective way to get anybody annoying off your case. It's just
Right.
like, hey, can you come help me move a couch? Like,
Hey, if you want to hang out, I'm doing a
poetry.
one-man show of life in Manhattan. Yeah.
Oh, no. I think I have to go get a colonoscopy. Sorry.
Yeah, no, okay.
And he's in his club doing his dumb poetry reading. Like, there are 3 types of junkies. Being a junkie is just another 9 to 5. And he swoops his bangs out of his eyes. The crowd goes wild, and then Ernie Hudson in the back gives him a thumbs up and then walks out of the.
Walks the fuck out of there.
I'm like, oh, okay, that's the movie.
Basketball. Am I right?